Good morning, my loves. Happy Tuesday. It is a beautiful morning here at the lake. It's about quarter till 5. It's in the 70s right now. It's a very cool morning. We survived all the storms, thank God. Some areas got just horrific flooding. Um, my area where I live did not get flooded. We got a lot of water. The lake did breach the banks, but not horribly, so everything's okay. But I know at work yesterday, I was in my office and we were looking out the window. One of the attorneys at his office is next to me came in and said, look, to the right, the far right out of your window. And I got up and I looked, and a tree had fallen across the road because of the storm, a large tree. And cars just weren't paying any attention and would drive right into the tree. So if you see a tree in the road, it's not going to magically disappear in front of your car. Please stop. Please turn around. Please go around the tree. Do not run into the tree, because it was almost comical that you couldn't help but see this tree from a block away and people were still running into it. So I had to toss that in. I saw something yesterday on the internet that I just found fascinating, that I just love this. Now, keep in mind, I'm older than dirt. I'm 66. I was born in the 50s, raised in the 50s, 60s, and graduated college in the 70s. So I have very old school morals and values. I was raised with old school morals and values. Yes, ma'am, no, sir, that kind of stuff. You would call someone, Miss Mary or Mr. Joe. That was just appropriate in my family. And it was lovely. And I saw something that was talking about home etiquette in the 50s. And I read it and it was like, yeah, this was our house. You did not raise your voice. You did not speak back to an adult. I mean, you could politely disagree, but you did not, you know, say something mouthy. You didn't, as they used to call it, you didn't sass. You knew your place as a child, and you respected your elders. You respected yourself. You respected your siblings. I mean, you might squabble and such, between yourselves, but there was respect and love there. You would dress appropriately for dinner. There was no showing up in your underwear or in pajamas, unless it was breakfast, and then you could show up in your jammies. But it was how to, if you had company at home, if mom and dad had a guest over, we would have to come in and shake their hand and say, nice to meet you. We would be dressed appropriately when we did this. And then we would go back to our room or go back to doing whatever we did. It was just being polite. We would sit down. We always, unless my dad was out of town or something, we would always have dinner together as a family. As soon as dad got home from work and had a cup of coffee, and he was a smoker, he'd have his coffee and a cigarette, relax a few minutes, and then dinner was promptly served as a family. And you would, help mom pick up afterwards, clean up everything. That's what you did. Then you would do your homework. There wasn't any badgering, yelling, screaming. That wasn't done. That wasn't appropriate. You were given a list of responsibilities, chores, and that's what you did. It wasn't like I think at some point I probably got an allowance, but it wasn't about an allowance. It was about, that's my responsibility to the household. It's what I do. Picking up your room, you should not have to pay a child to pick up their room. It's their room. They cannot leave it a mess. It's unhealthy. Being a clean individual, bathing, brushing your teeth, dressing appropriately, dressing neat and tidy, that, it was a given. It's what we did. You didn't think about it. It was just normal. There was no wearing, for guys to wear jeans falling off their rear. I cannot even imagine what my mom would say if my brothers had walked in the house with their underwear shoe, with their jeans halfway or right underneath the crease of their butt. Oh my Lord, that woman would have come unglued. You just don't do that. You dressed appropriately. Now, keep in mind, when I went to school, when I was in elementary school, and there may be people that I went to school with that see this, and you will recall, we weren't allowed to wear jeans. I mean, if it was a snow day, you could wear like leggings and tights and stuff, but you can't wear jeans. I think 6th grade, they may have started letting us wear pantsuits. Maybe. I think, possibly, but I'm not sure. That might have been junior high, but I know definitely elementary school, and this is in the Midwest, it was dresses and skirts, and you would have anklets and your little patent leather shoes or your Oxfords or knee highs, and you know, and it, trust me, Kansas gets dang cold in the wintertime. And out on that playground, you do not want to be sitting on the seat of a swing in a dress because it's cold. But that's how it was. That's how we dressed. And the boys dressed appropriately. That was just how it was. Hair was well kept and clean. Kids were clean. And I know when my brother, he's 9 years older, uh, longer hair started coming in style. And it was okay because he kept it well groomed. He had it longer. It wasn't weird looking or tacky or anything. He was always respectful and looked very nice. It's just the way it was. What if some of that could be incorporated into today's society, into today's families, into today's household? How many families have dinner together? Or is it just eat and run? Yeah, it's on the stove. Eat it if you want it. Fix yourself a sandwich. Don't care. Please sit down and have a meal as a family. Share your day. Share. And I like to call it the thorns and the flowers. The thorns and the petals, the thorns and the roses, whatever you want to call it. The good thing, everybody sits around the table and you share the worst thing about your day and the best thing about your day. And you talk about it so everyone can participate. And, maybe somebody didn't pass the spelling test or, missed one on a math test, whatever. And everybody can talk about it. Oh, you'll do better next time. Well, we need to work on those multiplication tables. We can do that after dinner. That kind of stuff. Or you got an A on a book report. I am so proud of you. Or you got a promotion. Or you made it into college or whatever. And you can celebrate those little things. It's the little things that matter. It's the little things when your child, has a fine on his first book, from the school library, assuming they still have school libraries, and they have to pay a dime. That can be embarrassing, but you talk to them about it. It's okay. It happens to the best of us, but it's not going to happen again because we're going to take the book tomorrow. And you help them find it, put it in their backpack, and it's resolved. But you talk about it as a family. You deal with things as a family. I think that is wonderful. And that's the purpose of the family table. Sharing the good and the bad, helping each other, supporting each other, nurturing each other. I love that. Not getting preachy, but what would happen if families started to pray together? Some do, some don't. I know kids that know absolutely nothing about religion. Nothing. I know adults in their 30s that know nothing about religion, and they don't want to. They don't want religion in their homes. They will at some point, I think, when they grow into it, when it's time. But what if families started to pray together? I think that would be nice. Now, back in my day, we went to church together every Sunday. We went to, let me think of the name of the church, Mount Olive Christian Church. It no longer exists in Wichita. Tiny little church. My parents were some of the founders. My dad was on the board. There was probably 300 people in the church. It was a nice, small church. And it's the church we were raised in. It was a compromise between mom and dad to go to that church. And it was a lovely experience. It was fine. But mom and dad compromised on that church. They would compromise on a lot of things. Teaching your children how to compromise is big. It doesn't have to be your way. It doesn't have to be their way. You can compromise and find neutral ground. And sometimes that's what it's about. Finding neutral ground, common ground. Teach your children. Teach them respect. respect for others, respect for adults, respect for other children, their teachers, law enforcement, firefighters, nurses, doctors, and more importantly, respect for themselves and authenticity, but respect for themselves, to respect themselves and their values. Their values may not be yours, and that's okay, but they have to learn to respect themselves. I just think these are things we need to start incorporating into the family. It's just my view, and I'm just an old lady with a lot of opinions, but I think families coming together as a family would do this world a lot of good. Bringing religion, your faith, into your family would do families a lot of good. Don't force things down your kids' throats. You can't, because they're individuals, and by the time they're 16, they're going to have thoughts of their own. But you can expose them. When they're young, you can expose them so that when they are older, they will make wise decisions. They will have the knowledge and the options to make wise decisions. They will have good judgment. They will have good values because you gave them that. You gave them those building blocks, and that's exactly what we're talking about, foundations and building blocks. Just my opinion. Just wanted to toss that in there. Something to think about this beautiful Tuesday. Stay warm, stay dry. We'll talk tomorrow.